anyway.
It does. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Never Mind the Buy Box. My name is Natalie Cromie, and I'm the content director here at Secret Wealth Project.
Do you say that every time?
No, I've just started saying it now.
It's like you're, I don't know, it just sounds like you're doing a presentation or something.
Yeah, well, that's me. You know, you've seen my presentation, so you know I like a good intro for sure. Yes, well, you ruined my flow now. I'm not going to start.
I did, but I was, you know.
You ruined my flow. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to Never Mind the Buy Box. And this evening I am joined by fellow co-contributor Luke Dugan. Good evening, Luke. How are you?
I'm good. The weather's a little bit chilly today, actually, but apart from that,
it did too. Yeah.
Yeah. In the mornings, I've been taking the dog out, and I've noticed it compared to before. It's been really nice, but you know, nights are getting a little bit darker. But I mean, it's still August, so it'll be fine. But I think the next week still going to be a little bit crap. So
yeah, I completely agree. It's dark here. Literally before I jumped on here with you, I was just thinking, it seems like the nights seem to be drawing in a little bit, which is really weird because obviously we're just at the start of August, so it can't be. But yeah, it's a bit cold here. It's a bit breezy here. Extra blanket on the bed, definitely for sure, this week. But I think, good evening, Natalie and Luke from the ever hot and sunny Santorini. That must be Ash because I was speaking to him earlier in the week. Yeah, everyone. Do you know? I know at least 3 people at the moment that are in Santorini. So
where is that?
Greece. It's Greek island.
Oh, it sounds. I mean, I didn't want to make myself look stupid by saying Greece,
but no, it looks lovely. Guys, can you let me know? Obviously, that's Facebook. I'm not getting the comments through on my phone for some reason. I'm not sure. I don't know if you can see them, Luke. But obviously,
what are we looking for?
Comments. If we'll
probably because no one's joined.
Yeah. Oh no. There we go. I just hadn't switched the right button on. Yeah, it is Ash for sure. There we go. Oh, we really have got a delay tonight, so I think that's what it is. So Harminder's joined us. Good evening. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a catch up with Luke tonight. Obviously, we're in the summer period at the moment. I know that's contrary to what we've just said about the weather and the nights drawing in, but it doesn't feel like we're in the summer at the moment. So it's a little bit quieter on Amazon at the moment. You know, everyone's, like I said, we've talked about it for a couple of weeks in a row now. Obviously, a lot of compounding things that have been happening on Amazon. People seem to be, I think everyone's in a good place in terms of they know what Amazon's going to be doing. And I know that people are doing really well sales wise. So I think, we're just at that kind of weird Amazon period when kids are off school. So people maybe might take half an eye off their business, especially if they're parents, and, start thinking about maybe looking forward to Q4, but don't want to start anything else at the moment. I always find August is just the weirdest month on Amazon.
Yeah, I was thinking about it every year. I'm a bit slow at it, but I always just kind of develop it a little further. It's like, but I kind of made the thought like by next January, I want to, and I'm implementing things obviously now, like when it's not so crazy and not so mental, like pretty much just doing like a half an hour, basically only working to like be like the consultant, like check, like confirming things through the business, and everything else is just running itself. Q4, I'm happy to get involved because like I actually really love. I don't know. I get like really excited about it. But like month to month, when it's sort of, you probably, you can put a lot of effort in and definitely get more results. But I find that like things, I know that, actually it would be a good example. Last year, Q1 was maybe not, let's take that out. But my Q4 was just as good as the rest of the year. And I'm like, and obviously that's like 2.5 months and it's fun. And there's like, I've got little challenges with myself. So I'm happy to get involved then. But I think for the rest of the year, I want to try to pretty much be that consultant guy so that the VAs will come to me and I'm just consulting them on their actions day to day and just checking a couple of, just sort of being behind the scenes, just making sure everything's going properly. I think, but I'm obviously implementing things now and building my VAs up ready for that. And again, I'm building a new podcast series that's coming out.
Yes, that's very exciting. Yeah, you've been telling me about that.
I think sometime this month I need to get it all synced up with everything that needs to be synced up and everything. I've got like 6 episodes recorded, got another 2, something like that. I'll probably have about 8, and then obviously I need to decide how I'm going to release them and all that kind of thing. But that's just like a fun project on the side more than anything. But obviously I've been able to do that and do other things sort of related to Amazon, I guess you could say, but not like making money or selling or anything. It's not related to that. So I'm thinking but as the years progress, I'm feeling months like August, I'm more for that, for me anyway. Not that it's for everyone, because I know some people are doing amazing at the moment.
For sure.
And I'm like, I'm even a bit like, maybe like I need to rethink things. But then I'm like, well, I need to follow my own path and do it how I feel, not almost get like that. Oh my God, I need to do what they're doing,
Yeah. Oh, I think we all get that, Luke. At the end of the day, I think it's just absolutely human nature. And we talked about this extensively, here on Never Mind the Buy Box, in posts through Secret Wealth Project. We've all talked about this. I've seen it talked about in different groups and things that, you have to follow your own path at the end of the day. Someone could put up a screenshot with, thousands and pounds, 10 grand a day or something like that. But you don't know what that person's doing. You don't know what commitments they have. You don't know, their life, the chance of it being, it could be similar to yours, but the chance of them being at exactly the right point in their life where you are is, it's almost impossible. You have to follow your own path. And I've often said this to people previously, if you're one of these people that comes into these groups, and you have to be able to look at what other post. One, I'm not going to say take it with a pinch of salt, because I think, at the end of the day, you never really know what's happening and goes on behind closed doors anyway, of course. But what I will say is you have to look at it, and you have to look at it from a motivational point of view. If you are someone that gets serious FOMO, for these type of things, that's a really negative place to be in it, and it can be really damaging. And I think it's if overall these groups are amazing, obviously this one and yours, Luke, as well, are the best. But I think it's if someone, said to me, what is the biggest negative about, the Facebook communities to do with any type of online selling online, I would say it has to be, when people post things and getting that kind of green-eyed monster that comes out within you, because what it does is it highlights so many different things, and it brings out, and it can fester, and it can actually really demotivate you. So you have to be one of these people that just looks at it, wishes them true congratulations on their path at their time, wish them the best of luck, and then vow yourself to do something, to get yourself into that position. But, not their position, in the position that you feel that you're capable of doing, if that makes sense. Because like you said at the start, we're all on our own paths.
And also, I've been speaking to a couple of people just while I've been doing the podcast, just sort of asking them what is their long-term goal, like all that kind of thing. Not really semi-related to Amazon, but not really. And just, what's going on, what do you want to do in the future, and do you have any grand plans? And some of them are, are a bit more like grow multiple passive income stream, all that kind of thing. And some are more like, I want to be making, $3,000 a month. That's pretty much, passive. I'm happy to do some work, but passive as in I got a team running it and I don't really need to do it, but I'm going to be managing and but ultimately spending my time like experiencing things and having a nice life. So and if that's the limit, if not that's the threshold, then obviously that's going to be completely different to someone who wants to build 10 or 20 passive income streams. And because but both of the goals are equal, as in are the top, it's 10 out of 10. If he gets $3,000 a month, that's 10 out of 10. He's done it. And if the other guy has 20 passive incomes or whatever he's got a goal for, that's still the same. So, but it was interesting to also just sort of listen and hear that as well, because you kind of get stuck in your own world as well at times. So
Yeah, I think so. You're absolutely right. Especially in this community, in this world, and normally Secret Wealth Project will at least have one kind of meet up a year. We've not been able to do that, obviously, because of the pandemic in the last 18 months. That's going to hopefully change in the future, where we'll be able to do a live in-person meet up. Hopefully, you'll fly in and see us when we do it next year, Luke.
Why, is there something going on next year?
Well, yeah, there will be. We haven't arranged anything yet.
Well, it's only because, they keep changing. It's open now. Actually, I could come back and it wouldn't be no quarantine and stuff. So right now it's fine. But you never know, like periodically, on and off, if there be anything like that, because it's not impossible. Definitely over winter when people get more ill as well, and they're more susceptible to illnesses. There could be a bit of a yo-yo situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. So in terms of looking far out, obviously I think by the end of next year, no props. But the rest of this year is kind of okay, well, you could do it. My friends could come here now. I can fly, but I'm not taking it for granted that it'll be there for the rest of the year. Potentially, it could be by November, December. There could be something that is, even if it's a quarantine based or I don't know, something. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that was a long way of saying, yes, you will come over and see us if we do something.
Yeah, as long as I haven't got to do 10-day quarantine.
No, absolutely.
Even if I did, I might still do it, but it's just
Yeah, no, absolutely. Quick hello to everyone. Ray's joined us. Evening, Ray. Having choices is what is so good for us, not stuck in a situation where you have none. Absolutely. Minda says, welcome to the 40 Club. Thank you very much. It feels good to be here. I'm going to talk about that in a moment, because there's just been I can't describe what's happened to me this weekend. I really can't. And I wanted to share it with you all. And obviously, I just don't want to talk about myself, but I want to talk about something which, since, my birthday happened, I'll talk about it in a moment, but I've talked to other people about it since, and they went through exactly the same thing. So I think I'm having a little bit of a positive midlife crisis, but I'll expand on that a little bit in a moment. Sean says Q4 is going to be amazing. I completely agree. I really do think it is. From my point of view, I've actually, do you know what? I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but the pandemic has gone out of my head completely, which is really weird considering, we've been in self-isolation for 10 days because Matt's got COVID or had COVID. I don't know. He came out of isolation today. So he was free, left the house at about 9 o'clock, literally couldn't wait to get outside. So, but the pandemic has gone out of my head completely. It's like it didn't exist, doesn't exist. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just feel like, I really feel for me, it's the end now. And maybe because I'm not planning on traveling anywhere this year, like abroad or anything like that, maybe that would have affected me more. But like I said, I know 3 people on the Greek islands at the moment. So it just feels like life's back to normal now. And the last 18 months kind of didn't happen. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I kind of, I never really, the only time that it just annoyed me was flying back to the UK and having to do some quarantine. But really, I just worked around it. It wasn't, wasn't too annoying, really.
But I honestly think that with the rules and everything like that, they're changing so much at the moment that, wait and see what happens. I know who's put Chris, wait down for lockdown in October. Do you know what? I think it's because, I don't know, and I'll move on and, talk about the 40 thing now. And there is an element of this, absolutely, that I've always been very, very good in focusing on the now and not worrying too much about the future. I'm the type of person, I could be going in for surgery tomorrow morning and I wouldn't be nervous about it tonight at all. It wouldn't really bother me. I worry about things when they happen. And believe me when I say it has its good points and it has its bad points.
Well, that's similar to what I do. So I went skydiving whenever it was the other week. And not a girlfriend that were like, are you scared? I was like, oh, I just don't allow myself, basically, until everything's so, a year is a second or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, it's just like a lie to myself that it's in 5 minutes or 20 minutes. So actually, there's no point even worrying about it until you're actually doing it, because in theory you could just say, I don't want to do it. So why even spend a second wasting your energy or thought process. Because like I could be planning like, okay, so I'm going to strategize doing that. You're like bleeding energy for something that's not actually even happened and might not happen because you could decide not to do it. I don't know, until the final moment. But then when the final moment happens, like with the skydiving, obviously it's like 2 seconds of you falling, like as in it's literally just you shuffle forward with the guy behind you and then you're gone, and there's no, and then once you've obviously realized you've already done that bit, and it's like, okay, and then you're so actually there was I wasn't say going in the plane was like a little bit, because you're like, oh, I'm going up in the air, but I used to, I think I did it all the time. I remember I did actually. This is what I used to do. It was so bad. I had drama. I hated I hated speaking to people and performing and doing anything related to talking to people. And I still hate picking up the phone and calling someone. And I always just do email. Unless I really have to, because there's just some sort of old thing in my head which just really like doesn't allow me. As soon as I finished drama, I used to be like, oh, thank God. And I was then, as soon as I walked out of drama, I used to be like, oh my God, I got it in 2 weeks again. And all I could think for 2 weeks as the days progressed is like, oh my God, it's one day closer to that drama session.
Wow.
And I remember it now. And that was like I think I dropped it in year 9. So year 9 was my last year, which I must have been 13. But no, 13 I would have been. And that's how I used to be. And that's like a waste, because it's like, like you don't really enjoy anything else because there's always something going on,
Yeah, definitely. So I think I was the opposite at school. I had double drama on a Friday afternoon, which was like amazing, because obviously it was Friday afternoon. I love a bit of drama. So for me, I always just spent the week looking forward to drama. But that's a different story. But if I'm looking forward to something, I do get excited about it, which is the difference to obviously fearing it. But where it does have its disadvantage, for sure, because I actually think overall, I do think it's better to be like that than not be like that, because you've just eloquently said it yourself. You don't spend your whole life worrying about something that may or may not happen. I don't really.
I know it's never normally as bad as it is. Like we've done enough things to know that whatever that thing is never as bad, really. Maybe now once in blue moon it might be, but it's never as bad. So it's like, even if it is going to be bad, it's 1/10 of what you're thinking. So, but yeah, just quickly to finish that. The only problem with that is that I then don't enjoy things until, like, if I'm going to go to Vegas, like I remember because I went to Vegas and I was like, I loved it, but I only loved it the day before, the day that I was going. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get excited all the way up to it, because I had the same thought process. I was like, well, I'm working today, so who cares? And so like my excitement isn't for as long.
Right. I found. No. I tap into the good side of that. I mean, the bad side for me is not having to worry about, not worrying about things in the future, is when you're so focused on the now. I'm a live the moment kind of person. I'm the type of person that I don't like booking tickets to something. I want to turn up there and see whether I can just get in at the end of the day. It's not always practical nowadays, of course, or whatever. But, with COVID and everything like that. Whereas Matt's the opposite. He wants to know it's booked at what time.
I do that. I want to know. So this is weird.
Yeah,
like, and similar. I like to know it's always booked, and I even go, what's the traffic like on Google an hour before? Google Maps traffic. Then I'll check 20 minutes, and then I go, right, the time is that. You got 10 minutes of that, so we get the 10 minutes before.
Oh my God!
And then
am I talking a map?
And then I'm like, if and I go, right, so 5 minutes to walk in, just in case, whatever, like it's a queue or something.
Oh my God, no! I just don't think that. I think, do you know what? And if we miss something, we'll just do it again. That's the way I look at it. But the big negative to do with it, most definitely, is what can happen from a business point of view is things where I'm not thinking about the future as much as I'm thinking about the now. Sometimes the future can get here really quickly and I'm not prepared for certain things. So that's what I've had to learn over the last couple of years or so, to be consistent in working, on my business and doing something for it, just a little bit of something every single day. Otherwise I'll get to Q4 and I'll not have any products to sell, because obviously I am thinking about Q4 now. That's a bad example. But, you know, if I wanted to create like a Mother's Day bundle or something like that, or whatever, I do have to ensure that I start really thinking about it beforehand, and like chipping off adding a product, you know, once a day or something like that, because otherwise it would get to that point and Mother's Day would be, you know, gone. So I do definitely have to do that. But I found this really interesting. I'm going to post it in the group. I saw it in another Facebook group, actually. It's this little interesting like picture which highlights this absolutely and perfectly. And I know this is what you're really good at, Luke, as well, which is, I don't know if I'll hopefully be able to, it's a visual thing, so hopefully I can say it properly, is it says doing nothing at all versus making small consistent efforts. And it's a maths calculation, and basically what it says is 1 times no, I think I've got this wrong. Yeah, I think I've got that wrong. I'm not very good at maths. Basically what it's saying is doing nothing at all equals 1. Yeah, and if you do that every day, you still end up with 1. Okay, so doing nothing at all. I'm going to have to post this because I'm not explaining it very well. But if you do 1.01 and times that by 365, then you get 37.7, which means it's tiny little consistent efforts means that you get 37 times more than you would do by not doing anything. I've really not explained that well at all, but hopefully it's got through a little bit. I'm going to have to post it now. Yeah, even Luke can't work that one out.
I need to see it.
Yeah, okay, agreed. I didn't think about that as I'm really rubbish at maths, so I really didn't think how I could explain it because it's written like a little formula. Okay, Natalie's maths lesson comes to an end. Nobody listens to me when it comes to like calculating stuff, for sure. But anyway, moving on to the 40 situation. So Ray says, I love how you set goals and you manifest whatever you want. Yeah, I do. I definitely do that for sure. YOLO. Yeah, you only live once. 100%. Yeah, I do need to post that. Definitely, Kay. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Well, I'm rubbish at maths. I know what happened there. But yeah, so what happened this weekend? I turned 40, and thank you everyone, by the way, for, you know, the birthday wishes, the messages. I was just blown away by it. I don't
think I wish you a happy birthday, did I?
Oh, didn't you?
I have. Do you know what? I don't know.
Yeah.
I actually, weirdly, I don't.
Oh, well, I spoke to you the night before anyway, and I think you said have a good birthday.
Maybe, but I don't really. It's because I don't really care about my own in terms of like I don't see it as an important thing. And I know I shouldn't go, well, that's not all about you, Luke. Like, but yeah. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, it was lovely. So thank you, you know, for all the well wishes and everything like that. It was, I was so touched. I was really overwhelmed by it. And what happened was in the kind of run up to my birthday and everything like that, people kept saying to me, oh, you're gonna feel so different when you turn 40. And I was like, I didn't feel different the day after I had my kids. I didn't feel different the day after, apart from loving them so much, obviously. I didn't feel different. I'm talking about immediately, by the way. I didn't feel immediately different after I got married. I didn't feel different from turning 29 to 30, from 19 to 20, you know. So why am I going to feel so different turning 39 to 40? And I can't describe it, but I just did. It was super, super weird. It was like this, like I said, I don't know if it's like a midlife crisis kicking in or whatever, but it just felt all of a sudden, and I don't want to confuse this it didn't feel like a ticking time bomb, but it felt something had changed. It felt I was leaving part of my life behind and there was a new period of my life starting. That's how it felt. And I did a quick mental calculation, which obviously I've not highlighted myself in a good way with the math situation. But I think the biggest realization for me is I worked out that last 10 years of my life, the biggest thing in the last 10 years of my life is being a mother. And, you know, my children have been babies in the last 10 years. I've had another baby in the last 10 years, and it's predominantly and mainly been focused on being a mother. You know, that's what my last 10 years have been about. The next 10 years, the main thing will be about being a mother. But in 10 years' time, one of my children will be an adult, and the other one will be, a late, coming into her late teens. So there's me thinking my whole life revolves around my kids. And, I'm quite a realist. And I know that my kids aren't going to want to be around me as much as I'm going to want to be around them at that age. I'll be there for them and everything I do is for them. But now I need to think about, changing a little bit about what our future and what mine and Matt's future is going to entail. And that's what kind of snowballed it all. And I started thinking about it. And I was thinking, right, well, I wrote my goals at the start of the year with those kind of long-term goals in mind, based on everything of me being 39. And, the kids are young and spending time with the kids and everything like that. How can I base my next, how can I stick with the same goals when my mindset has changed, or it feels like it's changed now? Don't get me wrong. It could be a short-term thing. I don't know. So I sat down and rethought about everything, because how can I have the same goals when the goals are not going to be the same based on because the last 10 years is not going to be the same as the next 10 years. It's going to be a massive difference in that period of time. Does that make sense?
I think so. I mean, I had my midlife crisis at like 26, so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I might have another one when I'm older, but like I had like like that sort of like point of I was like, right, like I just felt like dazed about everything. I was not dazed about everything. It's hard to explain. I was like in a place where I was like, didn't know. I was just a bit, I don't know. It's hard. I can't think of the word. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't sure what was right or what was like the path. What I was I think that's... and I had to just decide, like, what anyway, I'll be here forever if I try to find the words for it.
I think sometimes you can't find that clarity to explain it, and that's the difference. I had this really overwhelming feeling of clarity that I'd really not felt before. Let me know in the comments. I don't know who else. Dan said turned 40 at the end of July. Happy birthday. Could be another birthday twin. I think there's someone else in this group as well. I think it was Gavin in this group, turned 40 on exactly the same day as me as well. So let me know in the comments if you've turned 40 or had a major age milestone in your life. Is this something that's happened to you? But it really, like I said, it put this massive level of clarity that I hadn't experienced for a long time. Maybe it was to do with, this combination or compounding effect of also feeling like I feel we're coming out of the pandemic. I know some of you guys disagree with me on that. And I've had a look into some of the theories that everyone's kind of been talking about. And because everyone's been talking about all these theories and everything like that. And I didn't really know a lot about it. So I thought I'll have a look into it. And I'm not going to make any comments any further than that. And, I just sort of like, just looking at all that and thinking about the future and everything. And I think it was it Sunday I sat down and did it or something like that. But I just literally poured my mind out onto paper and sort of said, something's got to shift, something's got to change now. And I came up with the 3 big goals, for the next 10 years, because I think you need to have an overall feeling about it. But also, I think this is why I wanted to talk about it tonight, not just to talk about myself. But I do think everything that we said at the start, with August being a little bit of a in-between month, that actually I think this is a really good time for people to sit down and reevaluate what they do want for the rest of the year. Because goals that you set at the start of the year, we were in a pandemic when I set these goals, like many of you done as well. So things have changed. So I think whilst things are on the down low a little bit, it's quite a good time to naturally do it anyway. I do reassess my goals, definitely, as the year goes on. But I just sat down and I thought, right, okay, one, I can't carry on for the next 10 years abusing my health in the way that I do. I've got to look after myself more. Definitely. That's something that's massively got to change because in 10 years' time, if I'm still doing the same thing, I, won't be in a position to do what I want to do for the rest of my goals. So that's a big one that's got to change. Income streams, again, and then family, because obviously I know what I said about my kids being older, but when my kids get older, and if they have kids, I'm kind of hoping they don't have kids in the next 10 years, but if they have kids, I want to be in a financially free position to be able to follow my kids or, kind of do whatever I want. So those were the main 3 goals, and I reassessed those and put myself in a different position. And I'm really glad that I did it, because, like I said, it's just offered this level of clarity that I think I was really lacking for, certainly the last quarter. Maybe that was the run up to being 40. I don't know. Now I've got over it. Maybe it's not so bad. But yeah, I think most people dread an age, turning a different type of milestone. But for me, I think it's been amazing.
Well, I've got 7 years. I just turned 33 anyway, so.
I did say that to you beforehand. I said, I want to talk about my 40 midlife crisis, but
not already. Like today, I was like, I'm 33. I was like, you better get a move on, Luke. Did I say 43 or 33? But I was like, you better get a move on, Luke, because what you think? It's 10? You're gonna drift through for 10 years, and but I did have a quick think. I was like, you're pushing somewhere. Well, I see it as that, because I'm not like, I don't know, 26 or
because you're not in your 20s anymore. Absolutely.
So I'm like, I got to get a move on.
Yeah, it is. Now I'm post 39. I think, now it's the age that I've definitely felt the most unreal at. I don't feel like I'm 40, because when I was a kid, someone being 40 felt really, really old, and I don't feel old, but But
the interesting thing is as you get older, the people that are around you that are a bit older, a bit younger, you don't really look at them like they're older. You just, like, I don't know what it is as well. I always wondered that, like, so why do you look at someone? Maybe, I always wondered, like, you look at a woman. I know this is not like it's PG, but when you're like 18, you might not think someone that's 40 is that attractive. Like, you might do, but you might not. But when you're 40, not talking, I'm just talking like generally, like, or 50 or 45 or whatever. And then as you get older, you usually find the people that are more around that, because you're getting older as well. You don't think twice. But that's I don't know if it's psychology based, but like as in, you don't look at them as old. You don't go, oh, they're old, because I used to. So and maybe that's to do with my maturity. Maybe, I don't know. I just thought it was so fascinating, that concept of how do you see it one way? Your eye, I know it's not just your eyes that see,
perception,
but
isn't it?
It was just interesting that you don't think that's old when you get to that. When you get there and look at somebody, you don't assume the same thing.
Cindy says, I definitely feel like I'm playing catch up. Don't feel like that, Cindy, because the time, I know, what you're, and I have felt that a little bit as well, because you've been doing mostly mummy jobs for, what feels like a long time now. I know exactly what you mean, because that is exactly where this all came from, because the last 10 years has absolutely been devoted to my children. And I think about the time that we spend with our children versus some of the time that our friends who are in normal jobs spend with their children. We're with our kids all the way through the summer. We don't have to put them in camps or anything like that, or childcare that we don't want to. My son's actually going one tomorrow, but that's out of choice kind of thing. But hopefully my kids will look back over their childhood and say, they can't say that we ever didn't spend any time with them. They're probably like, probably fed up with us. But that was always the plan. It was never, my business was never the main priority in years 30 to 40. Not my main priority at all. And it still won't be my main priority, but it has shifted up a notch, definitely. Because obviously, like I said, realistically, for the first time in a really long time, I have had to look at the future and say, if I don't do something consistently every single day to work on my business, then I could find myself in a position waking up being 50 years old. Kids are not interested, in us, and that's where my main focus has gone. And So therefore, and then I might feel that I might be tired by then. It might be like, okay, I want to retire, you know, I want to do this or I want to do that. So now's the time to do it, really.
Just go on cruises for the whole year, just forever.
I'm not really a cruise fan. I don't like boats.
I've never been on one, so I can't say. I want to experience it.
I've been on a cruise, but it wasn't for me. It was like, oh, okay. You didn't even, the boat was so big, you just didn't feel like you were on a cruise. I think if I wanted to go on a cruise, I'd like to be on, like, you know, that reality TV show, you know, the one with Below Deck or something, that type of boat. If you're going to be on a boat, and then at least you know you're on a boat. Whereas I wouldn't go outside on the balcony because it was like, you know, 10 stories high. And I thought, well, if there's a big wave and it tilts and I fall over there, it's game over. So I was like, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me being on a cruise. Disney every year, definitely, for sure. Karen says, I lost my confidence when I became 40. It took me a while to realize I needed to shift my mindset to adopt a different attitude, whereby everyone else's opinion wasn't what counted. Absolutely. It was me and my beliefs that were important. Definitely. And there's absolutely an element of that as well. That maybe it is a confidence. Maybe it's a certain point in your life where you feel more assured, or you go through this period of more self-assurance where, you know, it's sort of like, oh, okay, this is me and my thoughts now. I don't really care what anyone else thinks. I don't know. But yeah, I can't describe it, you know, as much as I would like to, because we'd still be here till midnight. But yeah, maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's a woman thing, because only the girls have answered so far. But whether or not it's a female thing, and then men have a different type of midlife crisis or whatever. But if this is my midlife crisis, I'm quite happy about it, because I see nothing but good coming from it. So that's where I'm sat at the moment. Maybe check with me in a year's time, see how we're going on that.
Quickly, can you hear the dog snoring? Because I know I keep asking this in every single session we do, but it's so loud for me, and I'm like,
no. But we had this in ESA last week. I couldn't hear the dog, but everyone else could hear the dog.
All I can hear is like every like 10 seconds.
I heard that. Matt's just messaged me, actually, and he said, I'm really blurry tonight, and have I got my internet plugged in? But I definitely have. So yeah, there we go. I don't know, it's so delayed. Kay says she can hear the dog.
Oh, well.
There we go. Dogs are fine. It's all right. Right, let's talk about restocks, guys. Let me know in the comments, how's it going? Because from what I can see, personal, talking to Luke, seeing it in groups, you know, all over Facebook, Amazon seem to have got their act together a little bit. What's happening with you, Luke?
Well, I didn't need to look, but I want to, you know,
anyway,
check on a, yeah, as I'm creating like a, you know, as I'm sort of sorting a shipment or looking at something related to shipments, I just have a quick peek, because I want to make sure it's not going down. That's actually more what I'm looking for, because obviously if it goes down, I've got to be buying less, and so that's more what I was worried about. Even though I had maybe just under 3,000 I had, so I was fine. But it did go up to 12,500 from about 9.5, something like that, roughly that. But the problem is it has gone up before,
yeah,
and then actually long term it went even further down than what the average was. This is higher. This is back up. You know, at one time it was like 23,000, but after it sort of found its base, this is probably one of the highest sort of averages it's been. But because it's only a one-off, as in it only happened today, I still won't assume anything until I've seen it, like, either not change for like a month, or it's changed, but maybe it goes to like 11.8, and then maybe it goes up to 12. Not, you know, and once I start seeing that average move up is what I'm trying to say, or it doesn't move like very often at all or something. I don't know. But I have looked at it and thought, okay, well, you know, that's nice to know. I won't do anything quite yet, but I'll just use it as a base point in my mind for size of purchases come end of August, moving into the rest of the end of the year, I guess you could call it.
Yeah. Do you think, as, you know, self-admittedly as a volume seller, has this dented your confidence in what levels of stock that you feel that you can invest in for Q4?
Not really.
You're asking like the wrong person because nothing bothers you.
Well, no, I don't know. All I thought was I'll just clear out all the crap. And I already thought I'm going to pretty much focus on Q4 because I've done it in different ways. I focused on Q4 products only some years. Then I thought, well, why not do a bit of both? Why not do my replans and as in the ones that sell just normally and Q4? And I've had like, I guess that, but the problem with last year is there was restock limit, so I couldn't focus on just my volume, the great volume Christmas stuff, because I had a limit. Or the limit went up, but it wasn't like 1,000; it was like 350 or something. So I kind of had to mix in a bit of everything. And I'm like, well, but now I'm like, now there isn't those limits, but there is obviously an overall limit. But I can still go, you know what? If I just focus on the top 30 products, it might not be 30. It could be anything. I don't know what it will be until we're there. Then I could just go 600, 1,000, 1,002, and sort of play it like that. And maybe mix in a very light, top profitable products that are the day-to-day stuff, if the profit's good enough. But in terms of, I know it's August and July and stuff, but I've been selling over a good 150 of pretty non-fancy, just bog standard products. But if they go in, they can go out so quick. But actually, the thing that I've noticed and that I like about it, and this is because a lot of products are now starting to pick back up again. And I thought this could happen. And so I got my VA to do a little check on number of sellers now versus 3 months ago. A little bit, because I was very curious to see some items would be underpriced because they're looking to shift stock. Fine. And there's still, if people have got so much, then that will take longer than others that people have a bit less. Every listing is going to be slightly different depending on the thickness of volume, thickness of like the stock that everyone's got, and so what I've noticed is that there are many that are the same, but there are a lot that are now starting to pick up their price because the number of sellers is dropping. And I like that because now not only are they still volume products, but there's a lot less sellers, and because people obviously have limits, and yes, it might disappear come October magically or something.
Yeah,
but I think that
it should be higher then anyway.
And I just think, well, now that people are having to be more selective with what they're doing, maybe they're sending in a light sprinkle of volume here rather than going what they were doing. If you just focus on, if you play the other side of that, instead of people maybe going 20 of that, 30 to 20 of that, because their limits, obviously they've got to spread themselves, or they don't even get into it at all. I'll basically play against that. So I can see, okay, that product is a great volume product, even now, but the number of sellers has dropped and I'm selling it for £2 premium now. So if I can get in at 100 units, and I can probably sell 40 a day. And so even though there's a restock limit, you don't really notice it because you're able to actually just sell so much. And that's not on everything, but if you kind of strategize some stuff, if I could get the flow of stock in as it's selling, as I'll sell 40 today, I'm sending 40 in. That kind of level of it, and it's already at the prep center, and they know that's the score, and we're doing it almost seamlessly. Then almost that restock limit doesn't apply as much because you're shifting it goes in, and it's just replacing the existing level. And then in Q4, because people will still be like, oh, I've got a limit. Not everybody. Some people will have plenty like me, or they'll have even more. But some other people will be like, I've got to be a little bit more careful. And I'm going to be like, okay, well, I can just go and buy 2,000 of that. Those 30 to 20 sellers that might have 30 or 40 in stock, maybe then they're only going to have 10, or they're not going to bother because with the volume products, the profit is lower. But you have to sell a lot to make the profit. And if your limits are anyway, 5,000 or below 4,000, you can still do it, but you can't really maximize the volume as well, because you just can't. If you buy 500 of one item and you could sell 200 a day, yes, you could do it for the same scenario, but a lot of people would be scared to only have 10 ASINs that are active in Q4, 500 or whatever it ends up being. People are probably like, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just play it a little bit safer. 30 of that, and so I'm just going to try and work, just be observant with things as we tick over and as things are going, and try to just sort of if this is the shape of the listing, and I'm going to just try to like slip in the gap like that and maximize it.
Sounds pretty cool. And I think
I know I overcomplicate things when I talk.
No, but you said it yourself. I think, you were saying at the start of this year that, and I'll remind you of this, so it's your fault this happened, Luke, obviously. You put the mockers on it, which was, you were kind of saying you feel like you needed a new challenge. You needed to, be refreshed in this business again. And kind of Restock Limits have done that for you, essentially, I would think.
It stopped me from being more, like, I got not lazy.
Yeah.
It can be seen as lazy, but I was like, well, why am I buying, why am I spending an hour once a month buying $5,000 of stock? When for the last 6 months, I've basically just done it month after month, the same items for 6 months. Well, why not just do it once every 2 months or 3 months, but just buy 3 times as much? Because it was just literally just like, why am I wasting my time? Or maybe it was 2 hours because I had to go and check the quantities and the price was, is the price the same? Yeah, it's just like, why do that? If it was just repetitive, like consistently just having to be like that, of course, then so there are still listings that I have like 450 in stock, and I am selling them, but they're not selling, they'll probably be pretty good by October, but it's still like a bit of a,
the mind.
I got, but that's okay. Like, things have changed all the time. Like, all you got to do is maximize the situation that's in play, that until it's over. Just ride that wave, and don't worry about when it ends. It's like the stock market. People are, it's going to crash. Well, yeah, but you could have said that for the last 8 years, and it's probably gone up like 400%, or I don't know, something stupid. And it's like, you could keep saying it, and eventually it will. It could be, but as in, if you got in, let's say, like, whenever you originally thought, oh, I'm not going to do it, let's say it's 10 years, 8 years, how do you might actually be up overall still, even if it crashed 50% or 80%, because that time is actually, and so it's kind of like that. I'd rather not like pick and choose, just ride that wave. And then now that things are sort of reset, or getting reset, in the process of getting reset, now I'll start again.
Don't say that word.
Yeah, like like whatever was happening is now like.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I think it's human nature. We always tend to look at what we've lost, not what we've gained, So I think that, that's quite natural anyway. Sean's pretty excited about the restock limits. He's finally able to send some stock in, which is good. I know that there's been some shipping changes on Amazon. It's something I don't know a huge lot about, because I don't handle any shipments or anything like that. But I'm currently putting together my new beginners arbitrage course. So I will have to go through it and learn all the new system and everything like that, because obviously I'll be showing it in the videos. But unfortunately, I don't know a lot about it at the moment. Do you? I think, is there still an option where you don't have to select the new shipping options? I don't know.
Do you mean new shipping options? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I can't remember what it's called. Someone remind me. There's new shipping, like templates, is it, or pages when you're creating your shipments?
Well, I mean, I was doing one today. It looks a bit different, but it looks the same.
Oh, okay. I thought
it literally looks like someone's just like updated the graphics and moved. Like the buttons are still the same. Like mine definitely looks new. But the buttons are the same. Like the wording's the same. You just have to find it on the screen. I don't know. Maybe it's something else.
Yeah, no, that's it. Caitlin says it's the new shipping flat upload template. So yeah, I knew it was something to do with template, but you can still use the old ones, definitely. So yeah, I think it's just a toggle on to use the old ones or something.
I just wanted to mention something that Sean said. He said, "What's the date that your IPI score has to be at 500 by to send unlimited stock?" Well, because remember, mine went to 470, I think 477. But anyway, last quarter, mine went down, and I had 20,000 units. I think, I can't remember exactly the numbers now, but remember I mentioned it to you. I had 20,000 units. Obviously, I can't even send that much in now. And I think it was about 1. I don't know what the measurement is, but it was about 1 on
cubic square feet.
Does that sound right? Or
1 cubic square feet is not a lot.
100?
You probably had like 1,000 cubic square feet or something.
I could probably find out. I just don't want to waste the time. I can have a look in a second. Actually, maybe we can do it now. I don't know.
I get what you're saying is even if IPIs do get reduced, there's a good chance that you're still going to have more than enough.
Okay, cubic feet. Yeah. Okay, I know what it was. So my current usage is now 478, but it was about 1,200 or something at one time. And yeah, cubic feet. And obviously then my IPI was like, no, it's now 477. So it's still like under the threshold. But it was like whatever it was at the time. Obviously, I didn't classify as being over that 500 last quarter, whatever it was. My current storage limit now from being unlimited is 5,043. Well, right now I'm basically like 10 times less than that right now. And I've got, I don't know, 7,500 units or something. So to get to that, I'll have to have like 75,000 units of the same stuff I'm selling to be at my storage limit threshold. Exactly. That's to say it's 50 or 30 or that's 40, that's just half that 75 or something. But yeah, that I don't know. That's just what it says. I don't know. Things always changing. I don't know. But currently that's what it is. And I'm not, I was like, oh, is that all? I was like,
yeah, you're nowhere near it. It's another math calculation, so bear with me. We worked out, I think, for every 100 cubic square feet, and this was looking at our own accounts. This was looking at, other people's accounts, and, the people let me look at their accounts, obviously, is looking at the accounts that it's anywhere between up to about 300 SKUs will get you 100 cubic square feet will take up about 100 cubic of, average OA products that are considered to be standard size products. So you can have around 300 SKUs and that will cover about 100 cubic feet. So it's quite a lot. And then within that 300 SKUs, that probably covers somewhere between, and this is a very wide range, obviously, because it will depend on size of products, because IPI is all about the volume of your product, not the amount of units, that it's probably anywhere between kind of 600 to 1,000 units that you can hold within Amazon per 100 cubic square feet. So I don't want anyone to kind of worry about it. And of course, it's rolling. So if you sell in 1 week 10 feet worth of cubic space, then you sell it, you can resend that amount in. Obviously this year we're going to have to contend with the rolling restock limits as well, which is unit based, but I don't see it as a huge problem, and I know exactly what Luke is trying to say. But obviously if you can, it's better to be over the 500 mark by the date. Now I don't know the exact dates, I was trying to look it up, but it's always assessed within the quarter before the quarter that's coming. So we're currently in Q3 at the moment, aren't we? And that consists of July, August, and September. So you get 2 assessment periods for IPI during every quarter. And that assessment affects on what storage you get awarded in the following or preceding quarter. So this month, this quarter, July, August, and September, there's 2 assessment dates. The first 6 weeks of the quarter, they'll assess you once, and they'll send out a little email at the end of the 6 weeks. So the first half of the quarter that you're in, they'll say your current storage limit is X, your IPI is this. If you are over 500, they'll say, keep up the good work. We expect you to, have unlimited storage next year. If it's below 500, then you will get an email that says within that first 6 week period, you're below 500. As it stands at present, your storage limits could be restricted for the next quarter. Now, obviously, the next quarter is Q4, which is where this is predominantly going to make the biggest amount of difference. So you've got 6 weeks to try and fix it, essentially. So you get assessed once halfway throughout the quarter, and then you get assessed somewhere about the second week from the end of the quarter, or maybe the last week at the end of the quarter. I can't exactly remember the dates, but they'll probably put the Q4 dates up quite soon anyway. But that's exactly how they work it out. So you get kind of 6 weeks to sort it out. But we know IPI is the slowest moving metric, whereas restock limits is a bit more fluid. So even if you've got 6 weeks, we know that probably 6 weeks isn't really going to be enough, to correct it if you're at like 420 and you need to get up to 500. Now, I also have a little bit of a theory to do with IPIs that if you are if you have been over 500 for the majority of the year, but the quarter before Q4 that you've dipped below, but providing you're with anywhere in the range between 450 and 500, and you've been 500 for the rest of the year, I think they still give you unlimited. Or it's so restricted in the sense that, like Luke said, they give you like 1,000 cubic square feet, which, because it's cubic, it's volume, is a massive amount of space. And I saw people quit Amazon over IPI last year when they were given like 300 square feet of cubic feet. And like I said, you can probably get like 2,000 units within that. But because it was the mindset of people, it was just sort of like they felt restricted. So they were like, oh, I can't have a good Q4 now, so I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to quit. Don't let it control you guys, for sure. But that was that. So yeah, we should have those dates coming up soon anyway. A couple of people saying, I think Karen's saying about no change, IPI up. Yeah, good. Up by 12, which is good. I don't think anyone will ever be able to work out, how it's all connected and what it is. Harminder, this is a great question. Do you think that groceries category has a future on Amazon? Morrisons seem to be on a lot more listings now. Also looks like Amazon is scrapping the Amazon Prime app, which means Morrisons will probably be more on listings on the normal Amazon site. I'll let you answer that one first, Luke.
I mean, I've known Morrisons to be there for years anyway. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed them not be on anything I sell at all, not even one listing that I sell. So to me, there's no, and you have to spend over 40 quid. So, I mean, not many people can do that anyway, not really. Unless you're looking to buy groceries, specifically groceries. Like I want to get something today or tomorrow morning for like a full shop, but like ad hoc additions to cart, I think it's basically until something changes, I wouldn't even give it the time of day to spend time researching it. Like you be aware of that it's there, and I am. It's that but if there's never ever once been an ASIN that I've seen them add on, I think it's more single items or there was something we talked about once, wasn't it? Like it's not going to be like a 3-pack of Nescafe different flavor bundle or something, whatever exactly. It was something we discussed anyway, like that.
The way that I see it, when something restricts on Amazon, it always means that there's opportunity to look at in a different area. And while everyone else is worrying about what they've lost, I'm always looking at where's the gap, where's the kind of opportunity, and particularly what I do, with the bundling and the unique bundling. The way I see it, Morrisons is never going to do what I do in that respect. So I'm not particularly bothered about it. And at the same time, this is a good time to clear it up, actually. There's a big misconception about Amazon and bundles. About Amazon are appearing on more listings that have got bundles with complementary items and things like that. And absolutely, it is true. Amazon are on more listings now than they've ever been. And especially in that grocery market where you've got like a fabric conditioner and a washing detergent or something like that. And you can see that it's a pre-packed bundle. Now, one thing I'm going to make absolutely clear, and this is at this stage, at the time of recording this, it's a little known fact that Amazon do not bundle anything. Okay. So there isn't somebody that's got the bottle of Lenore and the packet of surf washing powder and they're putting it together and they're bubble wrapping it and they're putting it in a poly bag in the Amazon fulfillment center. They do not do that. That is a purpose-made bundle that has been put together by the manufacturer for Amazon. Amazon do not bundle any of their own products. They only sell pre-purposed bundles or multi-packs on its own SKU that has been created and logged through the GS1 database by the manufacturer. So whenever you see Amazon selling anything like that, don't think, oh my God, bundles are dead because Amazon are doing it. Yes, there is a certain element of they are creating complementary items and putting them together themselves, looking at that opportunity, but they're having it created by the manufacturer. Not everybody works with Amazon, and there's millions and millions of products anyway. But what Amazon is certainly not going to do is they're not going to go to Mr. McVitie's company, and they're not going to go to Mr. Cadbury's company, and they're not going to go to a sweet factory or something like that and say, hey, those chocolate biscuits could go well with a bar of dairy milk and could go with those chocolate flavored sweets. They're absolutely certainly not going to do that. There will always be a massive market for highly complementary and, lots of grocery opportunities, for exactly the reason Luke has suggested, that if someone runs out of different packs of Bisto or something like that, Amazon's the place to go and get it, because there's no other options. You can't go to Morrisons, and I know that they're selling on Amazon themselves directly, but again, they're not going to do that. They're not going to create that type of opportunity. So I think there's still massive opportunity within the grocery world, for sure. To cut a very long story short. That was that. You can still use the old. Oh, that was about the shipping templates. Let's just have a quick look. Dan says, I love the new shipping screens. So much quicker. Creating pack sizes for replanned items is great. Okay, well, that's interesting. I've not looked at it myself yet, so it'd be interesting to see what it is. Karen says, send to Amazon. Not sure what that means.
I think the only thing that I quite liked an addition of was that when you add, although this might have always been here, but I've just never seen it, is that when you add a product, it prompts you to say, oh, do you want to send this in small and light? And I never ever seen it where it gives you a prompt to say, do you want to send it small and light program, or do you want to send it in normally? Like, maybe I've just not added enough products recently or something, but like I've noticed a handful that I've sort of added has prompted me and then given you an example of how to do it, and it's broken it all down. But before, I can't remember how I even looked at doing it. But yeah, I noticed that when you add a product, but that might not be relevant. That might not be linked to that. It's just I noticed it was like user friendly rather than having to go through the help and then find the links and go through other links.
They're changing it all the time. I made a course when I first started selling on Amazon, when I've been selling on Amazon for a while, about selling on Amazon. And it'd be interesting, because I bet if you went back and look at those videos now, like 4 years ago, Seller Central would just look like a completely different platform. They're always changing stuff. They're always making it better. Interestingly enough, Small and Light has changed so much over the last, few months anyway as well. It's become a harder program to sell on. You used to be able to get, 1,000 pens, chuck them in a box and just send them in under the Small and Light program. Now you have to FN SKU everything. So obviously that's become, that's a change in itself. And it's just testament to the fact that Amazon's always evolving. It's always changing. It's always doing something, different. And that's what you kind of have to accept when you're selling on Amazon. But it's the best of everything. We've been talking obviously a lot about, we've got free training tomorrow night with Matthew Wright, everyone. If you haven't signed up already, he's going to be talking about something really interesting to do with eBay. And also something that he's been kind of experimenting with. So it's going to be really interesting to pop in and talk about eBay. But what's interesting is we've been talking a lot about eBay because we know we've had this free training coming up. And I think sometimes people blur the lines between, we always say, we don't switch to eBay because we think, oh my God, eBay is so much better than Amazon. When it comes to sales volume, when it comes to procedures, when it comes to everything, Amazon at the moment, and I think personally will always be king for that type of stuff. But when we talk about eBay and everything, we talk about in addition to, as opposed to, ditch Amazon and join eBay, because of all the changes that Amazon are making now, it's making it a lot easier to run a complementary eBay business because of the things that Amazon are putting in place, restock limits, having to manage your inventory before, whereas FBA is always, really taking advantage of that for so many sellers that people haven't had to worry about their stock levels and being a bit more conscious about their inventory and what they should do with it. Oh, actually, maybe I'll keep a little bit of stock in hand, so therefore I'll send it in myself. Maybe because of the declarations of conformity, I want to keep my stock here and do a bit of merchant fulfilled. Well, if you are making those kind of changes, I really do urge you to join for the free training tomorrow night by adding, eBay into your business this Q4. Because I'll tell you what, it's really surprised me in terms of the sales volume, what things go for. And yeah, it's not old, crappy old eBay anymore. They're making big strides in the business to kind of catch up with Amazon. Whether they'll actually catch up with them, that leaves a lot to be desired, obviously. But certainly where I think Amazon has made it harder, eBay has made it easier. They're coming together more, which means that you can run very nice complementary business together. That's what I just wanted to get in there and say as we were on the subject. So 7 o'clock tomorrow night, it's not in here, it's on a webinar. So if you haven't registered for it already, then please join us for some free training tomorrow night. And it's also going to be a little bit about Matthew, and then with everyone's permission, obviously there will be an opportunity at the end of the webinar for people that want to work a bit more closely with Matthew. We always like to say that at the start, obviously. So if you need the link and you haven't registered already, please let me know. I will drop it in the comments. But obviously you do need to register for this one. It's not just in the Facebook group, so it's not just going to pop up. You need to register. And if you can't make it live, because I know someone will probably ask, there should be a replay, subject to me not messing up the, software. But you also saw my math skills earlier, so, I wouldn't trust me with the software. We'll see. Yes, there we go. So Sean says, even if I get 500 IPI and Amazon wants 2,000 units, 20,000 units, I'll be happy. But this year they began the restock limits, so still need to think about seller fulfilled prime. I'm cautious about this year now. I get that, and that's why I asked Luke the question earlier. I think people will be a little bit more cautious this year. I know this is something Mark's asked, but it's something obviously doesn't really affect you and doesn't really affect me. I don't sell toys. I heard definitely. You needed to clarify that was definitely the dog, because that sounded really dodgy. Yeah, I can definitely hear that.
She's not even asleep. This is just like her getting prepared to sleep.
Oh, bless her.
Like her just sort of breathing and I don't know. She's a bit old.
That's how I go to sleep, definitely. Sorry. Mark said about the certificates, declarations of conformity. They seem to have come in back with a vengeance again this week. And do you know what? I was talking to someone beforehand this afternoon, just messaged me kind of fed up, been whacked with, restock limits, declarations of conformity, IPIs, price tanking, everything that we feel at this time of the month, time of the month, this time of the year, where, like I said, August is a little bit odd, but absolutely, Dan, it is something that the declarations of conformity are coming thick and fast at the moment. So the advice generally is, to I wouldn't panic and make like an immediate decision, but normally they give you X amount of time to find the DOC. It's always worth looking online on Google. So typing in declaration of conformity and then putting the product in to see if there is some sort of public record of that declaration of conformity. The bigger the brand, like Lego, the more chance there is. I think if you get any for Lego, you can go on the Lego site and they've got all of them on there. I think, that's what I heard. So it's always worth doing. I know I saw someone said like had 150 and they managed to find like about 70 of them online or something. So it's definitely worth looking. Don't let anyone poo-poo you and say, oh, good luck with that. Always worth a 2-minute search to see if you can find one. But something I spoke about earlier in the week with the declarations of conformity doing the rounds again is what you've got to kind of remember is this time of year, sales are a little bit slower. So if you've got a relatively short date, you are going to have to take that into account. because sales are not generally as high. But if we get another big wave in Q4, sales velocity will generally be a lot higher, especially on toys. You know, for the 6 weeks before Christmas, sales velocity for toys increases by about 8-fold. Would you say that's fair? It's about the right kind of...
I would say 8 to 12.
Yeah, it can just go absolutely nuts. So I'll definitely encourage people. Now, you can't always look and follow the same rule for declarations of conformity at different points throughout the year. You have to look at the sales velocity and seeing how in demand certain products are. This is relating to toys. I know some people have some DIY ones as well. It's generally any products that require CE marks that have got a safety element to it. But yeah, always look at the market, look at the sellers, see what's going on, have a look previously, because this isn't the first time it's happened now. Go back on the data, have a look back on BuyBook Pro sales graph and see whether or not there's been at any point that the price has tanked before. How quickly did it take to recover? At what point in the year was it? You know, don't just say, oh, declaration of conformity, I've got 3 weeks to sell it, so I better dump the price. Check, see if you can find it online. Have a look to see whether Amazon are selling the product, or it looks like Amazon are going to sell the product at any point, because now we know that if Amazon has sold the product at some point in the past or are selling the product at the moment, that it's likely that they won't, get rid of the product because they're selling it themselves. So in that case, in my opinion, it's worth hanging on. And then check the previous data just to see, if it's tanked before, how long it took to recover, and also seasonality, see what time of year it is. Like I said, if it's now, yes, sales velocity is not going to be as high now as it is in December. So don't make the same decision now that you're going to make in December if those declarations come through again. That's my point.
Yeah, definitely.
Sean says Small and Light is getting better. 250 grand in a certain size, cheaper fees, better profits, minimum of 24 per ASIN. Yeah, absolutely. It is good. But what you've got to remember probably with Small and Light, unless you've got a very special deal with a prep center or something like that, if you are paying per FN SKU and you're paying like 30, 40, 50p for stickering, and maybe your end profit is only £1 or something like that, because the Small and Light program, I know the fees are a lot lower, obviously, and so is the percentage, but obviously you might just want to bear that in mind now, whereas you didn't have to pay for that before generally, because obviously didn't need labeling. So something just to take into account. Dan says, does Small and Light let customers buy FBA next day delivery?
I don't actually know, but I'd assume so, because
if they've got
what else is it going to be? Because it couldn't be merchant, because it's not merchant, and there is only FBA. It's not seller fulfilled because you're sending it to Amazon.
Well, it's generally under 20 quid, isn't it? If it's not 20 quid, then it doesn't generally come free. But that rule doesn't really seem to, like, Matt gets like weird stuff through that's like less than 20 quid and it comes next day. And
probably if you like save and subscribe, you might get it through.
Yeah. Kay says yes, they do. Yeah, like I said, I never remember seeing that it said it doesn't, but I've never sold on the Small and Light program myself, so I can't really say. So yeah, Small and Light does Prime. That's been confirmed now. Dan says, we set one as Small and Light and it went to 2-day delivery, but I will double check. Sometimes what can happen is, this is how I understand it, is you can enroll it into the Small and Light program, but when it gets there, it doesn't qualify for the Small and Light program for some reason. It might be it's too big. It might be it's too heavy to qualify for the Small and Light program. I'm not 100% sure, so that's definitely worth checking. But the Prime Day service, like in America, this is what we found out was selling in the US. Like, Prime is not Prime in America. There's like hardly any 1-day services in America. Well, there is 1-day services, but it depends how close proximity. That's why stock geographical locations are really important in the US, because it's so big. But their Prime, I think, is 2 days. I don't know. I'm sure they do have a 1-day service, but their standard Prime delivery is 2-day service. Whereas over Christmas, the UK tends to resort to a UK service as well. But I'm not sure. Oh, okay. So yeah, it could be. They might have disqualified you from the program because it might be down to the weight or something like that. Right. Any other questions? Let us know. I was just saying if we were going to cover anything else. Oh, quick shout out about reimbursements. Luke, before we go, Luke did an amazing video which was originally prompted by Johnny.
I wouldn't say it's amazing. I mean, I literally just I just jam on the computer, hit the record button, and stumble some words out and see what happens.
Well, I thought it was good anyway, and it's going to be something. Hopefully, it will get people some money. So fingers crossed. But I know you picked up. We've always got to give the original creditor, credit. So it was Johnny who has been on Nevermind the Buy Box before. I think you got this from his recommendation, didn't you?
Yeah, he just said that he actually went into do this, basically like many layers of how they get reimbursements. And I do some of them, and I was like, well, I'll give some of them. I'll have a look into them quickly. And I went to what was it called? Refund X-Ray, I think it was. I've got the title. Yeah. And it's a really basic website. Like he gave me, even one of the links didn't work. It was that is this even a website? But it's if you look at the reviews, it's one of the better review websites. So I just checked the reviews to make sure it wasn't some sort of weird website or wrong website. It was fine. And then they basically what was it? They let you sign up for free, and then you can download a report. I could see it's not. I can't even remember the video I did. This is how kind of just randomly I turn on and do a video. You sign up for free, and then you have 10-day free trial, and then you basically run. That's it. You add your inventory adjustment report in for. I think you can only. I could only go back to last January 2020. So it couldn't go further back than that. And then you put in your returns. So literally you put your inventory adjustment and then your returns. You just upload a file, text or whatever it ends up being, run it through the system, and it populates all the discrepancies where basically something's not, maybe I don't know, it's not being reimbursed for something. I don't know how it works exactly. It looks pretty straightforward, but obviously something they do it isn't, because otherwise the other softwares would already do them. And then it lets you basically get another Excel sheet, which is very similar to how you do all the others. You get literally just entries, to check transactions. And I just got my VA to fire off how 25 in an email or something, because to break them up, just like I do with all the others. And I got a handful of not only reimbursements, but stock that basically they found. And so I got back. I luckily because I had a lot of food items. I was like, oh no, what's it? Is it going to be crap that's just expired? But luckily, apart from where Amazon did the same thing, they found random items.
Yeah,
I found that luckily was even older, like Lego from 2017 or something. But with this, I had Fox's biscuits, a Christmas. It wasn't 100% Christmas, but it was a nice decorative one from last year that they found 40 units of.
No.
And the only reason I've realized, because it comes up all in obviously SKUs, and so it's not as easy to go, oh, I know what that is. When you're looking at the email report that they send you. Only when I then looked at my sales, I was like, why have I sold that? And obviously looked at my inventory, I had 39 at the time, and then I haven't even bought it this year. So I knew I hadn't. I just checked, and then I started selling them at $14.99, and then I checked the expiry. Luckily, I had an old, and it was October this year or something. So I was like, match, because I thought they're going to be dead, And to not only were they selling, because I think I bought them for £3 or something, they're not, just normal tins, but because I was the only seller now on that listing, I sold 40 at 14, and I thought, I wasn't even being greedy. I could have just put it up to something at £20 because they started to sell at $14.99, and I was just like, no, I think I even brought the price down at one point, because sometimes if it's too high, they can return it when they see the size of the pack. So it's you didn't have it yesterday and now you do. Just get and it's still going to be good profit from what you originally bought it for.
Yeah.
And that was across a big range of products, and I got many emails back like that. So it was like, because obviously I fired off in back to the 25, and I had 300 and something transactions, and each one had something related to they are found and added back to inventory, and then another section that was to do with reimbursements. So, and it was free to do, and then obviously your sign up will expire, and you could keep signing. You could sign up and do it like progressive, do it every month, but you can go back quite far, maybe every 6 months or something.
Yeah, something like that. Well, Luke, if you want to, well, not if you want to, if you would like to, please.
I just posted it.
Oh, you just posted it. Oh, that's cool. Just posted the video in the comments. Like I said, completely free, no affiliate links, no ulterior motive.
The website is literally just like 1 or 2 pages.
I know. When Johnny talked about it, I know a few people looked at it and thought, is this legit? Is this, kind of real? Because I know a lot of people couldn't make the link work as well for some reason.
Yeah, so Johnny sent me the link, and obviously that's the one I use, and it was fine. But then when I was adding the link in myself, it wasn't working, and I had to literally copy and paste the one he sent to some people to say, and I overrode whatever. I had to override the what I put to the correct one because it wasn't even working. I think the HTTPS ... like was, I don't know, it was just weird. But yeah, anyway.
I get it. But the thing I wanted to add on that, so even if you've got software out there that is doing your reimbursements for you, no matter what the software is, both Luke and Johnny and loads of other people now have confirmed that the software that sort of say that they pick up all the reimbursements, they don't. Whereas this one really is picking up a lot of extra reimbursements, adding up.
Or maybe that you take software out, but it can't track back far enough. And so you can only start doing it from now or 3 months or whatever. But like, that does a year and a half. Well, there might be another software that does 3 years, or I don't know, whatever. You just got to look around. Maybe it costs more, but maybe it's and some of them are like, we basically will have money back guarantee. You pay the amount. This is the amount we think you're owed, and if you just send us their response, and we will then. There's many out there as well. So
there
might be even more.
No, absolutely. So, it's free. Take a look at Luke's video. Subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. Congrats on the 2,000 subscribers. I saw it the other day. And it's free. No ulterior motive, guys. Amazon lose our shipments and lose everything all the time. So you really do not have anything to lose. Definitely worth doing and taking a look at the video, giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to Luke's channel, and and putting through your process. You might get some extra stock, you might get an extra bit of money, who knows. Right, I think that's just about it. So a couple of final points. Obviously, like I said, please join us for the free training tomorrow night on eBay. We're going to be talking about something that not really anyone has talked about. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, that's good.
I didn't mean. Well, I mean, you can't click that. That's what. Why is it looking weird? I don't know. I think that's the one that YouTube actually just gives you as a share, but it looks really weird.
I forget. You know what? I forget to do that. I actually forget to do that. That's something that I really like, having like the comments come up. And so, whenever I ask a question, I'm going to remember to try and do that in the future. I like it when that comes up. I totally forgot about it. So yes, please join us tomorrow night. Again, if you haven't already signed up, then please do, because you do need to register for this one. You need an invite, otherwise it's not going. We're not doing it live here in the group or anything like that. It's on different software, so you do need to register via your email address. I'll put a reminder in the group tomorrow, and obviously reminders before and everything like that. Next week, I've got a very special guest coming on. It's not Luke, someone else. And believe me when I say, guys, next week, you're not going to want to miss. Never mind the buy box. So we'll make some introductions. Well, not introductions. You guys have seen him before. So all I'm going to say is it's one of our most popular guests ever is appearing.
I guess it's that Mark guy, is it?
I'm not saying until next week. But yeah, one of our most popular guests ever is going to be making an appearance next week. And, you know, subject to dates and everything like that, hopefully, fingers crossed, famous last words, and talking about, you know, very big seller, talking about their kind of preparations for Q4, what, you know, lots of different things. We're going to be covering lots of different things anyway. So if you know who if you know, you know, it's one of those things. If you know, you know. But yeah, he's really, really popular guest on Nevermind the Buy Box, definitely, and always a good guest to have. So you're definitely not going to want to miss it next week. Luke, thanks. Really appreciate.
I haven't been on for a little while anyway, so it's all good.
Pardon?
I said I haven't been on for a little while anyway, so it's all good.
I literally felt like you were on like.
So I speak to you every week, obviously, on Elite Sales Academy. That's probably why I feel like it's just the other day I did it, but
yeah,
it's not.
No, I know, and yeah, I've literally got a packed schedule, so I think I've got guests now booked right up to well in September.
I thought you were going to say Christmas. So the next one I'll be on is like a Christmas special.
Well, no, I reckon you'll do one more, a couple in Q4, and then yeah, obviously the classic Nevermind the Buy Box Christmas special probably. Do you know it's so scary because I wrote the schedule for Elite Sellers for the rest of the year. You know, subject to seasonal changes and things like that. You know, I'm planning the guests for the rest of the year. The end of the year is coming around super duper quickly. That's what I say. Get going on the Q4 stuff, guys, now, because, you know, everything I was talking about earlier, it's approaching. We've only got 4 weeks till the end of the summer, and then we are going to be full on in Q4 mode. Nothing is going to be stopping us. We are not going to talk about anything else. That's all we're going to be talking about. Q4. And yeah, solid.
Exciting times, I think.
Absolutely best Q4 ever. It's you know, for the people that have got their ducks in a row, it is going to be a phenomenal, I might even say life-changing Q4 for a lot of people, because I tell you what, it's all going to be about online sales, inconvenience, and, you know, things. Yeah, 100% it's going to be all about the big Q4. Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing, you know, talking about lots of Q4 stuff for newbies. I'm also going to be releasing a course for new Amazon sellers, and there will be a live element to it. Completely free course, you know, completely free, no charging whatsoever. It's going to be completely aimed at new Amazon sellers. But then what I'm going to do is, once the course has all been released, I'm going to do some separate live training, definitely for, you know, Q4 on that as well. So preparing for that, but I'm starting to lose my voice. I know, starting to lose my voice. And we're going to be focusing definitely on Q4 a lot through Nevermind the Buy Box, definitely. So yeah, you don't have to worry about it. I've got special guests coming on that are going to talk specifically about Q4. We're going to talk about sourcing. We're going to talk about prep. We're going to talk about, you know, delivery times, shipment times, IPIs, restock limits. You guys are going to be well and truly fully prepared for Q4 by the time we're finished with you. Don't worry about it.
Let's do this.
Right. On that note, we'll see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah. So join us for their free eBay training. I'll put the link in the comments, links in the Facebook group, 7:00 tomorrow night with Matthew Wright. Thank you, Luke. Really appreciate it. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.